Hey guys, today I'll be talking about the tax free savings account in Canada. The US has similar tax advantaged accounts like the Roth IRA or the 401ks, which is similar to an RSP, but the TFSA is a Canadian specific account. So, what is a TFSA? A TFSA is an account that you can contribute your money in and invest it, and the growth is completely tax free. Let's give an example. Assuming you bought XYZ stock in your TFSA for $100 in 2024. 2 years later, you sell it for $300. Your profit is $200. Because you bought and sold the stock within your TFSA, you get to keep 100% of that $200 profit without paying any tax on the capital gain. So for me, once my money goes into my TFSA, I treat it like long-term money because I see the TFSA as an investing tool rather than a savings account. And for someone who is saving for a home, I would use an FHSA, which is the first home savings account here in Canada that has similar benefits, but is specifically to buy your first home. But I'll get into the details in a different video. One thing to understand about your TFSA is your contribution room. So basically, the government gives you a maximum amount to contribute every year, and the unused portion gets carried over to the next year. So let me give four examples that gives you a better understanding of how to use your contribution room. One thing to note is that the examples used in this video use simplified numbers to make it easier to understand how contribution room works. In the first example, we assume the annual contribution limit for 2025 is $7,000. The amount contributed is $5,000. Since only $5,000 was contributed, the remaining $2,000 of unused contribution room is carried forward to 2026 if it is not used by the end of 2025. In the second example, we assume no contributions were made during 2025. Because the full contribution limit went unused, the entire $7,000 carries forward to 2026. Since a new annual contribution limit is also added each year, the total contribution room available in 2026 would be the $7,000 carried forward from 2025 plus $7,000, the new contribution limit for 2026. So the total available contribution room in 2026 would be $14,000. The third example demonstrates how withdrawals affect contribution room. Assume the annual contribution limit for 2025 is $7,000, the amount contributed is $5,000, and the amount withdrawn is $1,000. Although the $1,000 was withdrawn, withdrawals do not restore contribution room during the same calendar year. So the remaining contribution room for 2025 is still $2,000 and not $3,000. The $1,000 withdrawal is added back to your contribution room on January 1st, 2026. Assuming the remaining $2,000 of contribution room was never used, your available room carried into 2026 would be the $2,000 unused contribution room from 2025, plus $1,000 withdrawal added back, plus $7,000 the new annual contribution limit for 2026. The last example shows what happens if someone has never made a contribution. Assume you became eligible to contribute at age 18 and have never contributed. If you are now 21 years old, your available contribution room is the sum of the annual contribution limits from every year you were eligible but did not contribute. Assuming the annual contribution limit was $7,000 each year, your available contribution room would be $28,000. So now that we've seen a few examples and we have a better understanding, there are two things that are very important to note. The number one thing is that if you hold foreign stocks within your tax free savings account and those stocks pay dividends, those dividends will be taxed. The second thing is if you actively trade within your tax free savings account, those profits will be taxed because the tax free savings account is designed to hold your investments a long term. So, yeah, that is a tax free savings account. Let me know in the comments if I missed some important details, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.